The system we fight against is not a beast of simple form. It is a hydra, with heads that multiply when you cut one off. You think you've solved the problem when you sever one head, but there's always another waiting to rise in its place. That's how the system works, divide and conquer. It makes you think you're making progress when you're only scratching the surface. This system, this beast, feeds on division, a division so sharp it cuts through families, through communities, through nations. The moment it senses unity, it throws another head up in the air, hatred, fear, ignorance, to keep you running in circles, spinning around in confusion. But here's the truth, they want us divided, because divided we are weak, united we are unstoppable. There's a lie that's been spread from every corner of this world. The lie that tells you that you're powerless, that you're just a cog in the machine, a rat in the race, a slave to the system. You've been taught to believe in chains that don't exist. They put the chains on your mind long before they put them on your wrists. But the real chains, the chains of this system, are invisible. The chains are fear, they are doubt, they are passivity. And you've been walking around thinking you are free, while every step you take is tethered to the lie that you can't change anything. The truth is, you can break the chains. You were never bound in the first place. You were taught to believe you were bound, and that's how they control you. They keep you shackled by your own self-doubt. But the moment you realize the chains are only in your mind, that's when you break free. What happens when a lie is told long enough? It becomes the truth. And that's what this system does to you. It keeps lying to you until you believe it. It tells you that this is how the world works, that the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor, that some people are born to lead and others to follow. But that's not the truth. That's the great deception. You want to talk about oppression. The real oppression isn't just physical. It's the mental oppression, the suppression of your mind, your potential, your ability to think beyond the limits they've set for you. They've got you thinking you're not good enough, that you're not capable of standing up to the system that controls your life. But here's what they never want you to know. Every revolution starts with one person, one spark. One person who refuses to believe the lie. One person who stands up and says, "No, I won't accept this." You look at the world today, and what do you see? Division. The divide and conquer strategy is not new. It's been used for centuries. You think you're fighting your neighbor because of the color of their skin or their background or their beliefs. But you're not fighting them. You're fighting the system that made you think you were different. They got us all looking at each other like we're separate, like we don't have the same struggle. They got us thinking race, class, culture, all these things that keep us apart are the issue. The real issue, though, is the system that created all these divisions in the first place. You want to break the chains, you want to bring down the beast, then stop fighting the symptoms, start fighting the cause, the system. The system that set us against one another, made us hate one another, made us distrust one another when all we need is unity. Unity is our weapon. They've spent centuries telling you that you don't have the power. They've spent centuries telling you that your voice doesn't matter, that your action doesn't make a difference. But when you look at history, who has ever changed the world? The people, the masses, the ones who stood up and said, "Enough is enough." Take a look at the civil rights movement, look at the Black Panthers, look at the countless movements that came before and after. They didn't have all the resources, they didn't have the wealth, but they had something far more powerful. They had the people. And when the people stand up together, the system can't do anything to stop it. That's the power we hold, the power of unity. And once we understand that power, once we organize ourselves, once we work together, we can take down the system, piece by piece, with surgical precision. Now, here's where it gets real. You can't just talk about change, you can't just dream about it, you've got to build it. It starts with a small group, just like the first revolutionaries who said, "No more." Then it spreads like wildfire, and you'll be amazed at how many people are out there waiting for someone to show them the way. You're not alone in this fight. Every person who has ever fought for justice in the world, the abolitionists, the suffragists, the freedom fighters, had to make their stand alone at first. But they knew they were not just fighting for today, they were fighting for the future. The United Justice Movement isn't just about today's struggle. It's about setting up the next generation to finish what we've started. We're talking about a legacy, something that cannot be erased. The battle ahead is going to be hard. It's going to require everything you've got. The system will fight back harder than you can imagine. They will throw fear at you. They will throw violence at you. They will try to divide you with their tricks. But there's one thing they can't take away from you. Your will, your determination, your belief that justice must be served. When you face that final battle, when the beast rears its ugly head and tries to take you down, you won't be alone. You'll be standing with all the souls who've ever fought for freedom. You'll be standing with every voice that has ever cried for justice. And when you strike, strike with precision, strike with purpose, strike with unity, because in that moment, the system will be exposed for what it truly is, weak, fragile, and incapable of standing against the people's power. The United Justice Movement isn't a slogan. It's not a brand, it's a living truth. It's a movement that can never be stopped as long as the people believe in it, as long as the people act on it. We've seen what happens when we unite. We've seen the power of truth. And we know that once the truth is revealed, once we stop fearing it, it can never be unseen. The system will fall and the people will rise. And now the question remains, what will you do? Will you stay in the fog, or will you stand up and tear down the system? Because it's time. Time to break the chains. Time to take back what's ours. The United Justice Movement will not stop. It cannot stop. The revolution has already begun.